He's known as a trailblazer in bluegrass music, who along with his brother Sonny took the sounds of the banjo, mandolin, and his tenor voice from Leslie County to a mainstream audience. The Osborne Brothers are probably best known for their 1967 hit Rocky Top and were inducted into the International Bluegrass Music Association's Hall of Honor in 1994. And while Sonny retired in 2005 and sadly died last year, at 90 years old, Bobby Osborne is still playing, singing, and teaching at the Kentucky School of Bluegrass and Traditional Music in Hyden with his cousin Dean. Bobby and Dean Osborne are our special guests tonight on Issues and Answers, the Mountain Edition.
From WYMT Mountain News, this is Issues and Answers, the Mountain Edition.
I'm Audrey Davis, and I work with kids who have autism. The Keys Scholarship from the Kentucky Lottery impacted me in so many ways. It allowed me to walk that path that brought me here to help these kids, which I feel like is where I'm supposed to be.
What's the FAFSA?
I have no idea what FAFSA stands for.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of people at school talk about it, but I haven't actually had like a conversation about it.
When I'm preparing for college, my top priorities are how to pay for it.
They're really focused on getting you to the college level. They're not really focused on getting you through college, so they don't really talk about the financial aid or FAFSA.
The free application for federal student aid is the first step, and it just got easier. Visit knowhowtogoky.org to find out more.
Bobby and Dean Osborne, my special guests tonight on Issues and Answers, and it's been more than 4 years since I had you both on last. Time flies. But Bobby, you've turned 90 years old in that time. Congratulations on that milestone, first of all. How are you feeling these days?
I don't know. I ain't gained a lot of weight, for one thing. I'm doing just, I do what I want to do, you know, and then so I get around, not like I did when I was 17, but right. I mean, I look at other people that's not within 5 or 6 years of me, and maybe 10, you know, but they're, and I'm just thankful, very thankful that I'm able to still do what I'm doing when I was 17 years old. Right. Other than the military, I gave 2 years of my life to the military, and other than that, it's just been sing or go do what I'm doing now. And
you're still singing, you're still playing, you're still teaching. Do you ever think about retiring?
I don't even know how to spell it.
So you still enjoy it all? I
guess retiring is okay, but I don't think I could be, I just couldn't go and sit down and not do nothing. It just wasn't for me to do.
Yeah. Dean, I'm sure he still inspires your students every day.
He does. You know, to have somebody, I've got a kind of it's not original with me, unfortunately, but I like to introduce him to students and say that you're with somebody that didn't have to learn it out of the book. He helped write the book on it. 73rd year, I believe, of professional performing this year.
Wow. Before we get too farther, I'm going to show a video that you did fairly recently called White Line Fever.
Okay.
So do you want to set this up a little bit and tell me how that recording came about?
Well, the record label, lady Allison Brown, Compass Records, she somehow or another she got the idea that I could sing that song, and
it's a Merle Haggard song, right?
That's what I told her. I said, when Merle got done with it, ain't you see anybody else to fool with. But she said well, I was going to do it like Merle did it, just slow time, and I was rehearsing like that. So she sent a little sample of it out to my house, and she done speeded it up bluegrass style. So I had to learn that all over again. I had to learn it that way, but it worked out that she had it all. Some of it was rewritten, but most of the time it was just all worked out just perfect with that melody that we put to it.
And you had a lot of people help you with that too. A lot of musicians come on.
No, they wanted to. I don't need nobody to help me. No, when you mean just arranging it, Yeah.
Right.
No, if I sing it the way I think it ought to go, and if they like it, fine. If they don't, well, it's their problem.
Well, well, I think people will like it, and we're going to play it for you. Here's White Line Fever.
Okay, let's roll it now. I wonder just what makes a man keep pushing on. What makes me keep on humming this old highway song? I've been from coast to coast 100 times or more. I ain't found one single place where I ain't been before. White line fever, a sickness born down deep within my soul. White line fever, the years keep flying by like a highline pole. Kentucky will always be the place I started from. I went to see Ohio and kept moving on. Rolling on the road is the only home I've known. White line fever, a sickness born down deep within my soul. White line fever, the years keep flying by like a highline pole. Continue to remind me how fast I'm growing old. Guess I'll die with this fever in my soul. White line fever, a sickness born down deep within my soul. White line fever, the years keep flying by like a highline pole. White line fever, a sickness born down deep within my soul. White line fever, the years keep flying by like a highline pole. White line fever.
What do you think about that?
I did the best I could with it.
Yeah, I think you did great. Good enough to be a #1 song, right?
Yeah, I guess it went to how they figured that. But the only copy I had of it was Merle Haggard sang it, you know.
Yeah, right.
And so I worked it up like that. I didn't know how she wanted it done, so I was just going to sing it slow like Hag did it, you know. But boy, I got down there and she sent me a little copy of what how she wanted, and I had to learn it all over again. That is just when you speed it up. Hags, he's just what he could do the best with. That's what he did, and so I wasn't trying to imitate him or anything like that. But I thought that's the way the timing should go on the song. Mm-hmm. But when she sent it to me in up tempo, put the tempo up like that, well, I had to learn it that way. But it worked out. If I had thought about it, that's the way I would have probably done it, you know, to suit what I do, you know.
It was a #1 song on Bluegrass Today chart, right, Dean, and won a collaborative recording of the year.
September 21st of 2021. And we checked with Bluegrass Today, and Bobby's the oldest artist in the history of that chart to have a #1 song. and it is the definitive chart for bluegrass right now.
Wow.
And
one thing that I think might surprise a lot of people is how well your voice is. I mean, you still sound like you did with that great tenor voice a long time ago.
I don't know, something just came over me when I was about 35 years old. If you don't take care of it, it ain't gonna take care of you.
So you've tried to take care of your voice.
So I've done my best to take care of my voice, you know. I never made it ever do anything that it didn't want to do, but it's never failed me. What things I wanted to do, it's been there ever since. So I feel I'm thankful for that, really am. And I know a lot of people, the older people that have went on before me, a lot of them didn't take care of that. They didn't take care of their voice. But I don't know, I just started, somebody told me when I was in about mid-30s, if you've got a good voice, if you take care of it, it'll last you. So long by the time I got 37, I figured out it's time to take care of it, and I've done that ever since then.
Yeah. We just, you know, talking about good voices, we just lost one from Kentucky, Naomi Judd, and she was a lot younger than you. But you were telling me earlier you didn't know them that well, but I'm sure you appreciated what they did.
Yeah, they were great people, and they did a lot for the business that we were in. You know, they did great singers and everything. But the main thing I liked about them, they were from Kentucky. You know, but, of course that's where I'm from, and I ain't too far from where I'm really from in Kentucky right now. But no, I didn't get acquainted with them real well. But because when they got started, I mean, they just went from daylight till dark, and of course they didn't have a chance to meet everybody. I don't guess, you know, like me especially. So, but I never did. I never did push myself off on nobody to beat them, and I just never did get that chance to. And I never did get a chance to read it. I might have met them just here, but as far as being around them a lot, I didn't get a chance to.
There's another duo really popular right now called Brothers Osborne. Have you ever met them, and what do you think about them using that name?
I don't care as long as they don't use mine. I don't know where they. I don't know where they come from. I've never met the guys. I
don't think they're from Kentucky. I'm not sure where they're from, but I've heard them pay tribute to you guys though. They know it's an honor to use that name. They just switched it around a little bit.
I don't know. I've had it in my mind if I ever do meet them personally, I'm going to say you should have. I'm glad you thought about putting that name instead of reversing and putting it the other way.
Right. There might have been an issue. Dean, I'm sure you're busy planning for the next Osborne Brothers Festival, and Bobby's always been involved in that. What can you tell me about what's in store for this year?
Well, it's our 29th year, and that's hard to believe too, Bobby.
I can't. I cannot believe it. I really don't think.
But 29th year of the Osborne Brothers Hometown Festival. The festival was started. Hyden Citizens Bank got together with the county, and we started to celebrate the career of the Osborne Brothers, and also to benefit the Leslie County Volunteer Fire Departments. And it's just grown. It grown 2 bands on a Sunday afternoon to last year we had. When we came back from the pandemic in person, we didn't miss a year. We had one that was all online, and Bobby came and performed because we were determined we were not going to miss a year with the festival. And but we had last year in person at the Bobby Osborne Pavilion. We had 34 bands over 4 days, and thousands of folks come and see that festival. So this year we're looking for a great festival in Leslie County, and I want to invite everybody to August the 3rd through the 6th, 2022 is our festival days.
Did the pandemic hurt you a little bit with the fundraising? I'm sure it had to have affected things.
Well, you know, everything is different. I think any part of the economy, any part of business, you talk with anybody, everything's going to be different than it was. But through Leslie County Fiscal Court, Hyden Citizens Bank, all of the people that have supported us, all of our sponsors, we got a number of sponsors in the county, they stuck with us, and they realized that the tourism it brings into the county, the benefit to a great cause is the departments. that tends to bring people back together after a terrible time that we've all gone through, and it's just, you know, it's maybe one of the worst things that you could go through as a country. But we're resilient. We're resilient. We're ready to be back, and we had a great concert last night featuring our ensembles from the Kentucky School of Bluegrass Traditional Music, Hazard Community and Technical College, and had somewhere a little bit over, I think, 40-something students across the stage in our different ensembles, and Bobby performed last night and helped host the event.
And Bobby, you plan on performing at the Osborne Brothers Festival again this summer?
Oh yeah, definitely so. I ain't missed one yet.
You know, since our last interview, unfortunately, your brother Sonny died last year. He had been retired for some time. What was your relationship like with your brother off stage?
Well, we were just brothers, I guess. We didn't feud in it. There was no point in that. You know, we didn't do anything like that. We just he went his way, and I know we was riding down the bus one day in the bus, and he was driving, and he just, I mean, point blank, he just and I'm standing beside of him on the bus, and he said, I'm just going to have to quit, and you know, that just struck me kind of funny. I didn't think that either one of us would ever want to quit. But he just said he just wanted to quit, and he said, I'd like for you to quit with me. And I said, Sonny, I said, the way I look at it, you was put here to pick the banjo and sing. And I said, the man upstairs put me here to sing, and I said, I ain't gonna quit until he tells me it's over with. And he says, you don't want to quit? I said, I never started into it to quit. I just ain't going to. I said, as long as I can open my mouth and sing, I ain't going to quit. So we just kind of left it at that. And I thought he would just mellow up and come back and sing some more, but he never did. He just, I think Sonny got to the point to where he knew that he had what he had accomplished with that banjo, and he was happy with that. So I mean, it was, and he just, when he quit like that, well, he didn't want to even talk about it no more or anything, and I just couldn't. I mean, something I was born to do. I mean, I ain't gonna quit talking about it, even if I have to quit. And I ain't gonna quit till the man upstairs said that's it. And that's it. That's just all.
Certainly, just a different mindset. You want to keep going. He wanted to retire. Dean, what can you put into words what the legacy of the Osborne Brothers is?
How long do we have?
Not too much longer.
I was very honored and fortunate to be the person that inducted them in the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame in 2002. It's one of the greatest honors of my time, being put in the position to talk about their career. And I think what I said that night, just to sum up, that when your career influences and creates the careers of thousands upon thousands of musicians, you've not only done something for yourself and enjoyment of fans, but you've also created another whole wave of musicians that aspire to take the music and go somewhere else. That's what they did. They took what they knew of traditional music and took it their own direction. And I don't think anybody's ever been better at what they do than the Osborne Brothers. Yeah. And very proud that they call Eastern Kentucky and Leslie County hiding 1,000 Sticks home.
Yeah.
And coming from that, it gives us, much like that same sentiment of the Judds coming from our state, that and to be known internationally with the respect and the influence they've had Well, last night, for instance, we had a 13-year-old mandolin player with us that is studying with Bobby at the college through his classes. This young man is doing fantastic out in the world, but they realize he has a lot to learn, and obviously has come to the best to learn that. You know.
I let him play my mandolin last night, you know, and I don't know why he just thought maybe I wouldn't let nobody touch it, you know. But when we got off the stage, I just reached to him. I said, "You wanted to play it? There it is." He must have sat back there close to an hour.
He took full advantage of it. He's one of the youngest students we've ever had enrolled. We had to get special permission to do that, but he's a fantastic young man and a great player. All of our students have benefited from them, but the legacy of Osborne Brothers is one that's secure for the all-time bluegrass music.
How are things going at the school? How's the pandemic affected you in that aspect?
You know, it's had tremendous effect on all college programs, but we've been very fortunate, and I think we lost 1.2% of our enrollment during the entire, and we're at the highest enrollment we've ever had. And our student body has grown tremendously, and you know, to have a college program for bluegrass and traditional music, and Bobby's in his 15th year of teaching there, and we opened in fall of '07. It's just been a blessing for us to be able to pass on what we've been able to do and what we love. School's going great.
Bobby, they named the auditorium there in Hyden the Osborne Brothers Auditorium last year, I believe. What did that mean to you?
Well, I go back a long, long ways. When I was probably, I think I was about 10 years old. My dad taught school there. And we lived on 1,000 Sticks, which at that time there was 4 pretty good square miles to get. No cars, and maybe the big trucks could get through, and there wasn't any road mount anything back then. Yeah. So to get from where we was at 1,000 Sticks, about 4 miles to Hyden. So you either walked or rode a mule or a horse, or if it wasn't raining or nothing, you might get a car across there. But trucks came pretty good. Didn't have too much problems getting with the roads, but wasn't really a first-class road. But when it poured the rain and got muddy, you just sat at home, you know, but it was part of 1,000 Sticks, you know. Right now, you know, people, where's 1,000 Sticks at? I said, look on the map, find it, it'll show you where it's at. It's right beside of
Parkway.
Hyden, where it says Hyden, in that map. It's right beside that there. I just find Hyden on the map and look there. I said, it ain't in black print, but it's there. So
you're probably one of the first to perform in that auditorium, I would imagine. You performed there a long time ago.
Sonny and me went, as far as I can go back, Golden Osborne was my dad's brother. He had something to do with the shows that when we'd come there. We go there once a year, you know, and I think he might have been something to do with the first one first time we went there, you know.
Golden's my grandfather, and when they first finished the auditorium, they called it the Old Hyden Gym. That's what's always been called till we put a name on it. But and there's a lot of entities came together to get that done, Steve. But it was really a collaborative effort between the college and the county. But some of the first concerts that Bobby and Sonny saw were people like Carl Story and Molly O'Day in that room. Mm-hmm. And then when they went to Knoxville to the radio station, 1954, about Bobby.
Yeah, I just got out of the Marines and we went down to Knoxville.
My grandfather and his cousin George Couch put together some benefit shows for the ball team, and they asked Bobby to come, and Bobby and Sonny to come from where they were working in Knoxville back to Hyden to do, because they'd left there several years before that, moved to Dayton. And the first appearance that we can think that they made was 1954 there in that room. and last night.
Obviously, your big song is Rocky Top. Do you ever get tired of singing it?
Never did.
I think it came out in '67. It's been around a while.
Yeah, it was December the Christmas Day. I always thought all my life that's a strange time for being worried about a record being released on Christmas Day. You should be doing something else on Christmas Day by doing that. But Rocky Top was officially put on the market on Christmas Day of 1967.
Worked pretty well for you.
Well, it just Christmas Day is meant. It's always meant something to the whole world, you know, or to us, or in the United States anyway. But it sure. I hadn't forgot the day that first day it come out. First time I heard it back, you know. Well, when we recorded it, we went probably 6 weeks or maybe, I don't know, maybe just months before we ever got to perform it on the Opry, you know. And finally when we got a chance to do that, I just, the lyrics had got away from me, and it's got four or five verses to it. I just forgot them. I had to go back and relearn it again, or read it off the paper, you know, and sing it. But everybody that heard it said, well, it's just a plain old song, you know. I asked Carl Smith, or not Carl, I forget, one of the guys, wasn't Carl Smith, it's somebody else like Porter or Wagner or some of them. I said, what do you think about Rocky Top? He said, it's just a plain old country song, you know, that's all it means to me. And I thought, well, maybe that's all it means. But, and by now, in the last 20 years or something like that, well, we didn't, I tell you, I read it off, I just about knew the song when we recorded, just by memory. And it took them about 6 weeks to decide to put it out. And when it was released, I had to go back and relearn that thing again.
Yeah.
Because people just want to hear it. And one night we went up, Ralph Emery had an all-night radio program from the studios at WSM. And one night, Sonny and me just went up there to join him, sit there with him. And he said, and either the label or the writer or the publisher or somebody, they wanted, the other side of it was My Favorite Memory. And that was the A side, because we was trying to really hard to get that harmony we had, get it in the charts. You know, for it was Rocky Top was just a plain old, Bill Anderson. I said, what do you think about it? He said, it's just a plain old bluegrass song to me.
Do you know how many times you sang that at the Grand Ole Opry? Any idea? Hundreds?
No. We didn't do it all the time when Sonny was, since Sonny, close to 20 years, I ain't been there without singing that song.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't sing it, why, I just feel like it's, and I've never walked off that stage when everybody thought it was an encore. And I don't, it's just a song that started out that's just like an ordinary Rolling in My Sweet Baby's Arms or something like that right there. It's just up-tempo. And I don't know where the lyrics was suited the song or the melody to it or what, but it was just one of those kind that people just, everywhere you go, there's no point in going if you ain't gonna sing Rocky Top, you know.
Well, the song was voted at one point the most popular fight song in sports.
Yeah.
And that I did a whole article, I think, in Lexington newspaper about that a few years ago.
We only have a few seconds left, so I want to ask you, is there anything left you want to do that you haven't done?
I'd kind of like to star in a movie about a bluegrass or something like that, which, you know, probably won't ever happen, but if it don't, fine. If it does, fine. So I don't know.
I think a movie about your life would be great. You might not star in it, but I think that's a good idea.
I wouldn't mind to do that, but I don't know. I just never, I just wanted to be with the guys. I never did care about being a never even thought about being a star of anything like that, you know. But if anybody wants to consider me as a big star of bluegrass music or what, that's fine. But down deep in here, I'm just still just plain Bobby.
Bobby, it's been good to see you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
on
you.
keeping on, and we'll have you back when you're 100. How about that?
Great, baby, great.
Dean, thank you.
That's
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Issues and Answers.